Ooh, that's a great one. I'm going to say remaining consistent. It has opened so many doors, and putting forth actual effort and seeing results. If I don't plan out my day, which I haven't for the past couple days, because I've been volunteering and kind of locked in on other things. So I haven't mapped out my day like I usually do. And I feel so lost. Like, I don't know what's going on because I've broken my habits by definition. So I know the power of consistency and discipline and the power behind it. Like, you write it down, you put it on paper, and you put action behind it. Dog, I feel like I've unlocked the quantum world. Man, it's different, but in a positive way. Like what I see versus what other people see, it varies, and that's any perspective. But I'm so solution based that how we were talking earlier, Josh. Like I'm gonna find a way, regardless of the instructions there or not. I know what I'm looking for, so I know my end goal. Yeah, discipline and consistency. That's what I'll say. It's gonna be access. The access people have to me now. While I do have a small circle, or several small circles, I know I mentioned this in the previous episodes, but the people who know what I'm working on understand that what I'm doing now requires so much focus that the same access that they had to me in terms of just being around, needing advice, while they still can, but I'm not as accessible to them in that same light. So it's me cutting off that access, not in a bad way, but so I can hone in and focus. Because that 5 years, I said, I think in months and weeks and not days and minutes. So the access people once had, I gave my disclaimers to everyone so they know that it's nothing personal. That what I'm doing is so I can grow. They know about my goals. They know the end game, including the podcast, my personal endeavors and all that. So that. That's another great question. So it will be accepting my gift. I receive some of the same feedback from key individuals in my life. And you hear it from trusted people. So you really don't think anything of it. But hearing it from people that, it's called strong ties and weak ties. So weak ties are people that, connections of other people in some sense. People you probably speak cordially to, but don't know in a formal sense. So now that my strong and weak ties are giving me similar, if not the same feedback, and nothing about me has changed in that manner, is, as I mentioned earlier, is, using your voice. Because the voice has always been inside of me. I've just suppressed it for so long that, again, I wasn't used to people hearing me. But the impact that I've had on people, I never knew, because I think nothing of it, because I truly don't have an expectation behind it. But man, words are powerful. And so I move with intention and purpose, and now I see those weak ties are turning stronger because of who I am, and I guess the seeds that I plant, the positivity that I'm spreading, and the influence that I have. It's growing. My connection, my networking is growing deeper than I could have ever imagined. So it's accepting what is, and I wouldn't even say being humble behind it. Well, I always express humility, but embracing it, learning to love it. Like, I'm not used to attention at all. So being highlighted, people expressing gratitude, giving the thanks, like actually the guy who helped me revise my resume, work with me to interview prep and all that, he asked me for some feedback through his whole process. And I gave it to him. Like, Gave him a whole bunch of bullet points. Anybody who knows me, know I will bullet point anything. So he followed up with me earlier this last week. He was like, hey man, just wanted to give you an update. I implemented some of the stuff you said. It's been a long time coming, but I should have been did it, but after reading that feedback. So that meant a lot, because again, it wasn't really any expectation going into it, but that, for me, it meant more to me for him to listen and implement than me actually giving him that feedback. So, and I probably went off on a tangent.
Specifically real talk or life? Everything. Okay, specifically for real talk in the next 5 years, it expands into something where we're just doing something out of the office, a small space, and expands into its own space and the use of other people's. Other people can come use this space too. So it's almost expanding from private to public use for more people to use it. So it's not just the podcast or the platform, but it's for everybody to be able to tell their stories, everybody to be able to experience what we experience when we sit in this seat, and for other people to be able to have a voice to say what they want to say and do what they want to do on, within means. And also expanding our current platform from not just this show, but for other people who want to join, who have a similar message or maybe a different message, but that falls under the same umbrella of Real Talk. So Real Talk is not just the Iron Table podcast or Real Talk with Real Men. Now it's a whole platform. It's a whole station. It's a whole channel. So you already got two people with their own platforms, and then the podcast with its own platform. Just imagine when you start expanding from there, and then you got film work. You got short films, full feature films. Maybe I'm saying too much, but that's it though. That's the vision. That's the dream. Going beyond like us owning and controlling our own content. And there are people that went before us who did something similar, that laid the foundation for us in a whole different realm, not the same messages that we're teaching, that we're speaking, but it's the same kind of everything under the same umbrella of Real Talk. Personally, I see myself, it's already manifested now within this year, because this year my mantra was there will be more in 24. More everything. I said more businesses, more valuable, productive meetings, more vacations, more me time, more relaxing time. And it's already been that. The first quarter is already gone. It's already been that. So I'm claiming even more of that in the next 5 years. Getting to the point in 5 years, and in 4 years, I'll be 40. So by the time I'm 40, I'm fully expecting myself to be in a position financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, like settled in to where I can't expect myself not to grow after 40, but I do expect myself to stop making some of the same mistakes. I can't expect to eat what I want and not have consequences. I can't expect to have a piece of chicken and not expect something to happen beyond, past that. I have to watch what I eat now. It's almost by force instead of choice, because that's what happens. It'll happen in life. If you don't do it by choice, it'll be by force. Because I'm experiencing some things with my body that I never had before. And it's not, I ain't gonna say what it's from. I don't know if it's from bad choices or just genetics or just because it happened. But it happened for a reason, and I gotta take control of my life. I have to take control of my body, take control of what I put into my body. That's not just food, but through my ear gates and my eye gates, because that controls what comes out. So within the next 5 years, I plan to have it down to a T. My time schedule, my blocks, like put my life on paper, everything. Because I got it on paper. I got my 5-year goals, my 10-year goals, my 1 year. And I'm already checking off stuff. And that hasn't happened before. I hadn't been at a point where I could check off stuff this soon. It usually takes like stuff carries over to the next year that I hadn't accomplished yet. So now it's time to check some stuff off. And not just on schedule, but ahead of schedule. So it's something that I picked up from my sister. It's not, rest and recovery is not they're not new terms, but they have been used interchangeably in the past, and it's different to me. Now I got a different meaning behind it. She explained to me, like, when I was sick one time, it's probably the time I had COVID, maybe a couple years ago. And she said, you can't rest when you're recovering, because your body, like when you're recovering from something, you're trying to get your body back up to 100%, back up to par. But if you're resting, you're already, near 100%, and you just recharging, rest and recharge. You're getting back to a point like, okay, I'm gonna go knock it out some more. That's what a vacation should be. A vacation should be rest and relaxation. It shouldn't be recovering. Like, recovering is like, you think about a recovering alcoholic. That's somebody just put it down, but they still got the urge to do it again. They ain't 100. That's not 100%. They still struggling to function. But finally, when you get back to 100%, then you can rest. It's almost like climbing that mountain. You climbing a mountain to get to a certain point. Like, before you get to the top, then maybe there's a resting point right here. Now you get to this point so you can rest. Okay. And actually, because your mind is still thinking about the very top, you may be recovering. You might have slipped. You might have caught a rock or something on the way down, on the way up. It might have caught you down. But you trying to recover so you can make it the rest of the way. That recovery is for you to make it the rest of the way. Because if you steady, and I talked to a young man about it today, you got to take care of yourself, man. If you don't take care of yourself, it's going to take care of you. It's going to sit you down. If you don't, take control of your life and your health and yourself, it ain't going to be no other stuff to do, because you ain't going to be there, or you ain't going to be physically able to do it. So that's the difference to me between rest and recovery. I would say so, because everything happens for a reason. That's almost like you saying we made mistakes, but it all got me to this point. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm exactly supposed to be doing right now at this moment. So I still be right here. I used to beat myself up about that all the time. Oh, I gotta be a millionaire by the time I'm this age, or I gotta do this by this. I gotta have this much money, all this stuff. Like, I got myself into a lot of trouble financially and, otherwise, trying to chase after something that was gonna come to me if I just sat down and did it the right way. We were talking about the nostalgia earlier about what would you do differently, tell yourself to do differently back then. Everybody is watching. So act like it. Act like everybody's watching, because you told me that you were looking up to me. And we should be peers. We should be we should be looking up to somebody else, but you looking up to me. And my insecurities wouldn't let me see that. So, I wouldn't start from scratch. I feel like I already have started from scratch. I feel like I don't wipe the slate clean. Once you really give your life up to Christ, it is clean. You got a clean slate. That's how I feel about it. It's a matter of what you do with it. Because you can't keep restarting. You can't start over multiple times. It don't work like that. Like, you can go to him every time you do something and say, Lord, forgive me. And he'll wipe that clean. But it's only so many times you're going to keep doing the same cleaning before it's over with.
I wanted to we went back to part 1, and I was in part 1 to where I heard him say something. But when he got in the hot seat, because when the heat rise and the temperature hit just right, some stuff started cooking. And it cooked over his stinking thinking, because that was a stinking thought. And when it caught fire and started cooking, it did something to me, and I ain't easily moved. So I provoked him to tap into what he hasn't tapped into before. That is why I did it, because I love him that much. And I know that there's so much more to him than being a millionaire. Having this, having that, is way more than that. He's effective. He just has to realize who he really is. That's why I came back. It's not about me, your platform. But your promise, bro, is so much bigger. And we gotta stop looking at the surface. I saw it when you spoke at that crowd that day. I know this is my question, but it's about you. When you spoke at the crowd, when you was running, the picture on the square when you was speaking to the people, I don't even know what you said, but you controlled what you said. Through a picture, I knew you wasn't being Josh. You was being Joshua Taylor. And that's who I just saw right there. Who I felt, who I heard, shook me up. That's why I did it. And because God told me to, but he showed me what to do, how to do it. Because instead of always asking people, you all right? Ask them the real question you should ask them. So I provoked him to be the greatest that he just got done speaking. Definitely. Yes. I don't come here to talk. I come here to learn. I come here to grow. Me wanting to be the center of attention, I don't know him no more. We trying to be effective. And yes, I swung back. It's just like softball. My first AB might not been as crispy as I wanted. But when I get back to, when I just hit that ball, I'm already thinking about the next bat. Because that bat gone. So when I go back now, I'm gonna stand a little taller. I'm gonna keep my elbow raised up a little higher. So I know that now I drop my hands a little bit. So when I drop my hands, I've lost so much power. So now I can hit it because I'm strong. But if I use technique on that comeback, because that's just all you did. You just sharpened your first at bat. Because you used what you didn't say first and what you didn't do then to hit the home run out the park. Boy. If we stay humble, we allow no pride, and we stick to the promise while walking out the process, I see crusades, like stadiums of this. Because like you said earlier, people have laid the foundation, but they ain't. The closest I've seen is the basement to what we do. And he got his own gift in how he does it. So yeah, I see it as a crusade, bro. I see it as a crusade. Simple. Put a watch in my mouth and a door in my lip, because it ain't no need to go deep. Because the word already said it. Only a fool utters everything that comes to his mind. I was foolish then. I wasn't foolish, I was hurt. I was angry. I was rejected. And just lonely in a room full of people that really liked me for what I can do for them. Ooh, you wrong for this. Yes. So now, yes, now I think before I speak. Because my releasing and unleashing has way more effect now than it would have then because of where I stand now. So I have to be very careful because I might lose somebody by unleashing at the wrong time. And then sometimes I gotta release so I can be released to go to my next level in life. I feel like, not that that's not who you was. I think that was a peaceful, honest, deep, uprooted answer. Because it was beautiful, it was peace. Like, bro, I'm telling you, I had goosebumps while you were talking. That's why I couldn't look at you. I'm hearing him. I ain't listening. What Wayne says, the difference between seeing and looking in the ear. I was hearing you, bro. I don't want to say for the first time, but maybe the third. I mean, you always intelligent. You always have the book smart. You always have the right answer for a project. But, bro, that was raw. And it wasn't even calculated, bro. And that's what they waiting on from you. They know him. But when you bring that element of you, but you're going to shake up a lot of stuff. But just also, I would say this before I leave, because I think my hot is done. I say this right here. When you say what you say and you do what you do, when no one sees you after you said what you said, remember that they're going to always remember what you said. So stand firm on that. So this scripture we're going to do going to be evident when we don't even open our mouth. And see, sometimes, Joshua Taylor, sometimes you feeling for a view or a like, because anytime something big happening, the devil going to discourage us anyway. Sometimes, bro, you got to realize that your absolute presence was what's needed at that moment. Because them politicians and all them people, they'll never hear me without you. Because your people that watch, you pulling them up, you bringing them here to hear something different because they're used to your language. And then when you bring out your side of you that they don't, when I say they, you know what I mean, they don't know, they can say, I think I'm wasting a lot of time now. Because if Rashad can change, anybody can change. So I would tell you, I'm proud of the person you're not afraid of being anymore. Because that's all that is. It's only fear, bro. I feared being steadfast because I knew I was going to lose because I always wanted the validation of wanting to be wanted. My seat hot. Yeah. Straight like that.
We gas burner stove top now.